the fallout from Charleston has cut across politics through the business community, and it's causing some interesting and some dramatic reactions. Let's start with Hillary Clinton. She was in Missouri yesterday near Ferguson, which of course has been part of this debate about guns and race as well. Listen to Hillary Clinton talking about the events in Charleston and her very strong language.
How do we make sense of such an evil act? An act of racist terrorism perpetrated in a house of God. How do we turn grief, anger, and despair into purpose and action?
Racist terrorism. Strong words. Both strong words put together there by Hillary Clinton. She wants to have a conversation about race. She wants to have a conversation about guns. And if you watch what's happening, it's starting. We don't know where it's going to go. But as was just discussed on the show, South Carolina is talking about now, and they're going to have a legislative action to probably take that flag down and move it off the State House grounds. Mississippi is having this conversation. The governor of Virginia says take it off the plates. eBay, Walmart, Amazon, Sears saying we're not going to sell products with the Confederate flag. And Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, say his state capital in Frankfurt, maybe we should take the Jefferson Davis. He was the president of the Confederacy. Maybe that statue should be taken out of our capital. He was born there, but he says there's no historic reason to have it there. Where are we going?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, we've already gone, I think, much further than I thought we would. I was down in South Carolina, grew up in South Carolina. I was down there this weekend. I don't think the protesters thought it would go this far this quickly. And you've got some strange bedfellows here, right? People who are really liberal on the one hand, and in the business community, which has, I think, in a couple of instances with same-sex marriage ordinances in some of these states and religious liberty laws, they've come out and been against Republicans. So this is sort of the race conversation that everybody thought we should be having, that Obama should start, but in many ways it's been started by these other events. Clinton gave a race speech this Saturday. She gave sort of part two of a race speech yesterday. Very much had echoes, I thought, of Lyndon B. Johnson's speech at Howard in 1963. She's also done something interesting. She's called on white Americans to do some soul searching themselves. We always talk about this racial conversation that everyone is supposed to have. She said, well, white Americans need to do some soul searchings and have conversations amongst themselves.
And from the right, Robert, you do have a lot of voices saying there's an overreaction, that you're having PC run amok when you can't, if you want to buy a Confederate flag, you can't go online and buy it. Eric Erickson, the conservative activist, he's at redstate.com. He also has a radio show. He wrote this in an email to his radio show listeners this morning. The American left has, running through it, the same totalitarian streak that ran through the communists. They're kissing cousins, the Nazis and the Islamic State. The left, always in search of a utopia, decides to force utopia on the world, making the point in his case that the left is now trying to erase history. They want to move all those flags. They want to move all those monuments. That seems to me to be going a tad too far. We don't know where this debate is going. And I think it's wrong to erase history. You don't learn the lessons of history if you try to erase history. But is it not legitimate, especially on the public grounds? Taxpayers pay to maintain the grounds of the South Carolina state capitol, for example. That seems to be quite a fair debate.
You're seeing a lot of bipartisan support, whether it's at state capitals or whether it's on store shelves, to remove the Confederate battle flag, to get that banner off. But the conservative reaction has been interesting to watch because they're frustrated with the way they think the media is handling this, the way they're being almost put into a corner to change what they think is a symbol of history. And so they're with Charleston, they're standing with Charleston with the tragedy, but they feel like whether it's Caitlyn Jenner or the Confederate flag, they're being pressured to do things they don't want to do. But the country is changing, and that's what they're really grappling with. The country wants to see the Confederate flag move. That's why there's such a rapid sea change.
And in this case, you have, as you know, business interests usually aligned with Republicans. A conservative governor of South Carolina, a Republican. Mitch McConnell, a Republican. I know the base doesn't always like Mitch McConnell, but you have a lot of Republican leaders involved in this conversation as well.